Welcome to the IRN-CRU podcast, the American football podcast made in Scotland by NFL lovers. This is the news crew for the 2024 season, and I'm your host, Keith McGinty. After a long 4 weeks, we are back to guide you through the dark days of the off-season. It may seem like an age away until we get to August, September time, but we'll get you through there. And it's a bit of a joke saying that it's the off season for the NFL because the NFL just doesn't stop. There's no rest for us at all. So we're going to be here every week with a podcast running down all the latest news of the NFL for you guys. I'm delighted to say that I'm joined by a couple of the finest crew members as we go live on Instagram as well. First up, we've got Hamilton's own very big chief and triumphant Kansas City Chiefs fan, Studs. Welcome back, Studs.
Cheers, Keith. Good to be back and chatting about all the, unbelievable news in some cases, which we'll get into a wee bit later on. So, looking forward to catching up.
We are also joined by someone who's found a newfound love for the game after a rejuvenant season for the Green Bay Packers last year. It's Liam. Liam, welcome back to the crew.
Oh, thanks for having us. It's always a pleasure. It's been great to get back on and chat football again. It's been as you say, a long 4 weeks.
Do you know what it has? What have you done in your 4 weeks? Have you reconnected with family members? We had an extra son that I didn't realise was here. Supposedly, I don't know where he came from. But it's been good to get to reacquaint myself with the kids and my wife. What about you guys? You been up too much?
It's been good just not be up so late some nights at the weekends. So get some proper sleeping pattern back into place.
Exactly. Those bags are gone. You're looking good. I thought it was cucumber things you were going for there. No, right, all good. What about you, Studs?
Just a wee bit of family time and, as Liam says, enjoying the lack of late nights, to be honest. That's probably the worst thing about the NFL season. You go through September all the way to, February in my case, right through it then with some very sleepless nights.
Don't know about you. I've got the itch though. I've got the itch and been looking more and more into the BAFA, the American football here in the UK, and I'm desperate to get to a couple of games. We've been invited through to Edinburgh this Wednesday, and there's a couple of games going on there. There's the varsity game for Edinburgh University and Heriot-Watt University. So we'll be looking forward to that one. We're going to try and get along to that. Some of the crew guys try and head along the M8 to that one. But there's also one at just the start of the Easter holidays on Saturday the 30th, which will be the first ever indoor American football game in the UK. So I don't know, he's thinking maybe a wee day trip there. I think that could be good. Get the bus through. Was it the 900? It's been a long time since I've got the bus through Edinburgh for a gig.
City like 900.
There we go. Well, so definitely the crew will be making some appearances at them. Encourage all you guys listening to get through. Let us know what you think of the games as well. We're really looking forward to getting through and seeing them and connecting with some of the guys there. They're doing great things. They're doing their best to really promote the games as well. So we'll do our best to help out with that as well and get some of the guys on in the next week or so to find out how it goes and what it was like as well. Brilliant. Right, let's start off with our kick-off question. I don't know if you've seen the news. Not only did his Achilles snap at this very start of the season last year, I think it was 4 snaps, and then he had a big snap in his Achilles for Aaron Rodgers. There's rumours of him maybe making the leap into politics and being the running mate with is it JFK Jr.? I think that's who it is.
Robert Kennedy Jr. I think it is.
Robert Kennedy Jr. Oh, Bobby Kennedy. He's one of he was even better than his brother. That's wild, but it's wild, but it's not wild for Aaron Rodgers, isn't it? You kind of half expect it. Liam, you spent your formative years idolising the man. What do you think of this move from them? Can you see him actually making it?
I wouldn't put it past him, to be honest with you. You don't know if Aaron Rodgers. I say kind of touched on it, I think, during last season. It's been nice not to have to worry about what Aaron Rodgers has been saying, really, for a while. So, yeah, I don't know. Who knows? I'm sure the Jets will be kind of looking to keep him out of it, get some actual playing time out of him.
Has Jordan Love not been kicking about in the back of a pickup truck, just driving up and past the stadium, saying that he's desperate to come back to work, but just need to make it the right deal? No, has it not had any hassle from him this year? No,
no, not yet. Anyway, so long may it continue.
Amazing. What were you, studs? This sounds a wee bit wild. Can we see Rodgers actually making this move? I've got visions of him holding the American flag, running out into Super PAC Tuesday, wherever it is, and just planting these big giant stars and stripes in the middle of the stage, and then these other Achilles heel snap as he's climbing up the stairs.
Well, obviously done that in MetLife this year to open up Monday Night Football, and maybe that's what led to the Achilles. Maybe that just weakened it, carrying that heavy flag before he had just couldn't face the thought of carrying the team. He thought, I'll carry the flag, but
the weight of the free world on his shoulders.
Oh, can you imagine? See, to be fair, see if there was one NFL player that you would pick out of everybody across the 32 teams, the one name that would come to the front as being involved in politics would be Aaron Rodgers.
Absolutely.
Don't get me wrong, obviously Jason Kelce had his own furore during the playoff run where everybody's joking about Jason Kelce for president. But in terms of people that are outspoken and very forthright in their opinions, which, let's face it, most politicians are, Aaron Rodgers going to be at the forefront for any NFL player.
He'd be the ideal guy for all the mad conspiracy theorists with their bunkers under their houses and large arsenal of ammunitions and tins of Campbell's soup.
I think that's where him and Robert Kennedy Jr. have both... what's the word I'm looking for here? I've got a shared space to say. They're bonded, that's the word. I think they're both very high-profile anti-vaxxers as well, and very into their conspiracy theories now. Whether they both maybe shared these thoughts over an ayahuasca retreat, I don't know. But apparently that's where their bond comes from.
Liam, who would you choose yourself then if you were running for the accidental president of the United States? Which current NFL or maybe just retired NFL player would you be choosing to help you win over the demographic?
I was going to go for the low-hanging fruit of Tom Brady. You know, he's always a winner. Just go with that one. You know, he's always going to lead you to victory, isn't he? So yeah, I think we'll take him on board. You know, he's well-spoken, I suppose, and we'll see how he gets on this year. He might be coming this year to commentating, isn't he? So we'll see how that goes.
You've got the vegan votes right away as soon as you pull Tom Brady in, and as long as all the voting's done in the last 2 minutes, you really should be fine, to be fair.
Yeah, true.
Bring him in right. He looks very polished now. I think he's had maybe a wee bit of work done. He's starting to look it in the eyes. It's the age is going. He's got where do the Americans go for turkey teeth?
I have absolutely no idea on that one.
There we go. If you know, send in to us at Gridiron Fruit on X or Instagram. We'd love to know where Americans go for turkey teeth. No, but you start. Who's your running mate? Who are you taking then?
Again, it's low hanging fruit, but it's got to be Jason Kelce. Let's be honest, the guy off the back of that Super Bowl run, he's Chiefs dungarees at the Super Bowl, he's Rey Mysterio mask. Who's not going to vote for you when you get this guy running with you? He drinks beer out of bowling balls. It's actually just jumped through a flaming table, I believe, due to a bet that he had with the Bills fans. So, I mean, the guy's just... He's great just now in the public eye. His wife is well loved as well by the public. So you're just on it a winner. And again, you've got the whole of Philadelphia back you right away.
Absolutely. Guys, number one podcast in the world as well. It seems like it can do no wrong. The only thing I'm worried about is just the way the media is. Very similar to like how they are in the UK here, how they love to build these guys up and then slightly chink, they love to tear them down. I hope that doesn't happen with Jason Kelce when it seems like he's going to enjoy retirement, and it seems like he has his head screwed on. I heard a podcast where I think he was talking about him and Shaq, and Shaq was talking about all his regrets having a massive house, but he lost his family. There was nobody there. Everybody that's seen the Jason Kelce documentary realised just how much his family mean to him, and I truly hope that it doesn't go sour for him. I'm sure it won't. The guy seems to have a lot going on in his life. I'm really looking forward to seeing what he does in the podcast. We'll just keep going.
Can you not just see him being like Fitzmagic and just slotting right into a booth? They done it on Thanksgiving week. He's going to be on somebody's commentary team, whether it's ESPN, Fox, whoever. He is, again, he's just going to be great TV.
Absolutely. It's just a democratization of the sport. With just all these guys that with the new media, like I suppose what we're trying to do here. I don't see us getting invited into BBC studios anytime soon, right enough. But you never know. You never know. We aim high. One day we'll get a wee shot in the
We're building
the
those
sky.
contacts. Building the contacts. We're early days. We're networking.
And we do have lots of big plans for the 2024 season. We will be, this year we will be doing some live shows. We're hoping to get across the country as well, heading all over Scotland for getting to see some live football, flag football, of course. It's becoming massive. It's going to be an Olympic sport. Not this Olympics, but the following one. So the momentum getting behind that, we just want to be able to help and showcase that. So we'll certainly be doing stuff like that. But also be doing like some live shows in pubs and stuff like that, which I'm really looking forward to doing. But nearer the time, we'll be letting you all know about the details of that and how you can get along to it. Make sure you tell your friends and family, any NFL fans that you think would be interested. We'd love to get them along. Can see there's quite a few people watching and listening to just now. If you have any comments at all, we'd love to hear from you guys. Any questions at all you'd like to put to the crew, get them in. We'll share them on here, so you can message us on X, message us through YouTube if you're watching there. We've got all the comments and questions put to the guys. Terrific. Okay, let's start then. We'll go for where will we go first? We'll go for the blockbuster trades. What have been some of your favourite trades that you've seen then? I think the biggest one we'll probably have to start with was Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson finally getting shown the door from Broncos country and heading all the way over to the east of the country, over to Steelers town. What do you think of that one, Studs? As blockbuster trades go, is that a good move for both the Broncos to get him out the door? What do you think of the Steelers? Is this a massive improvement for them?
Well, it wasn't just Russell Wilson that left Broncos country. It was the two big bags of money that came over his shoulder that the Broncos are still needing to pay him. Because I think they are still in for 39 million, I think, this season. So
the Steelers are only paying 1.3, a couple of $1 million this season for him, which is an incredible piece of business.
I think if you're getting somebody like Russell Wilson, who, like, obviously Super Bowl winner, he's a bit of a diva, probably wouldn't be what you'd consider a typical Steelers type player. But I think you're looking at it, as you say, $1 million. There's really no risk there whatsoever for an NFL team.
Absolutely.
It's a 1 year rental, $1 million. If he comes in and balls out, then fantastic. He's got two great running backs behind him that should open up things at play action. He can still extend the plays like he did in Seattle, which you'll be very familiar with, Keith.
Yes. Let him cook. Let him cook.
Do you know what? I'd love it to be Hard Knocks this year. See the Tomlin-Wilson relationship. That I would love to see that, because Mike Tomlin is very hard-nosed, quite a dry sense of humour with the media, and just seeing that kind of dynamic build up between him and Wilson, I think, could be fascinating. I think it's a good move overall. I think he's better than Pickett, certainly, and I don't think that's in doubt.
What's your thoughts on the move, Liam?
Yeah, well, I think it's a no-brainer for the Steelers, really, isn't it? It's pennies, really, in the grand scheme of things for an NFL franchise, that money, and see what they can get out of them for the year. and take it from there, really, isn't it? And then I suppose, and for Wilson, it's another stage to try and restart, I suppose, if nothing else, because after the last couple of years.
How do you think Mike Tomlin will get him to... The stories were when he was at the Broncos that he had his own office and he was kind of positioning himself as being much bigger than Nathaniel Hackett it was at the time before he's moved to the Jets. He seemed a bit of a Billy Big Boss when he was there. How do you think Mike Tomlin's going to help bring him back down to earth, or has that actually happened? Has he had to check his ego at the door after the season that he's just had there and getting dropped, benched for the last few games?
Yeah, I wouldn't be messing with Tomlin. I think he's comes across as a pretty stern guy if he needs to be. And I suppose the other thing was, I suppose maybe even the Pickett trade that ended up happening. Like there's all the chat about him kind of going in a bit of a mood about being a backup now, and then they were like, well, we'll just trade you then, sort of thing. Although that certainly seems to be the kind of semi-reports. How true it is, who knows? But that didn't take long to move on from that. So yeah, I think Wilson will have to toe the party line as it were.
The guys at Dynasty Hot Seat, thanks very much for listening. They sent a lovely message out earlier on and they're promoting the podcast during the week. So thanks very much, guys. They're saying, love seeing more content coming out of Scotland. Keep it up, lads. Thanks very much. And their question is, what's Russ's catchphrase going to be? Steel Nation, let's melt.
I like that one. That's got to be good. That fits in quite well with the... I don't know if you guys have seen the meme about Russell Wilson in the Steel City where the steel factory goes on fire. So I did see one of those ones.
I just imagine it being like the end of Terminator 2 where he's just getting lowered in, the wee thumbs coming up, going, no. The end of the season. It's going to be exciting anyway. I think the Steelers have kind of needed this. They've needed this wee kick up the arse because they've been a hard team to beat. They've been notorious for getting this, being better than a winning record in each of Tomlin's seasons, which is great for them to have, but they've not really been going anywhere. This could be a wee under the radar. Someone that's won a Super Bowl, got to another one as well. A wee bit of experience there because guys are a great team. They've got a cracking defense, a couple of really good weapons going forward. So it could be a wee under the radar great pickup by them, and to get them at the money that they're getting them for, it will allow them to then help build around them as well. So give them plenty of choices, plenty of chances. The other big trade, well, no, it's not being a trade. We'll get to the other one. Sorry, get to the other one that I'm thinking of a wee bit later because it's actually a free agency one. That one was. Let's see what other terrific trades have we had.
You've got to have Keenan Allen to the Bears. Yeah. It's a massive trade for me because let's face it, you look at the Chargers and again, somebody put this on our feed earlier on. Justin Herbert went to bed. They had Eckler, Allen, Williams, Gerald Everett as his weapons, and he's woke up this morning and he's got basically Will Dissly and Gus Edwards. It's not really a comparison, to be fair. As much as I'm a Dynasty Gus Bus owner, so for me right now, that's looking like a great backfield for me. But Keenan Allen to the Bears, I think the Bears are going about preparing weapons. Their defensive line has always been kind of notorious, but they've certainly picked up weapons to prepare, whether it's Justin Fields or number one elect Caleb Williams.
Well, that's what I was just going to ask you. Who is going to be thrown to Keenan Allen this year?
I think Ashley Williams. I don't know. Like, I know obviously been loads of chat with Bear fans saying maybe keep Fields, but it just all comes down to money. I think from you're going to have to guarantee Fields' money. Like you're putting all this money into all these veterans. It seems crazy to not reset that QB window again and get that rookie back in there. I think. Yeah. I know it's easy to say, but yeah, it's been interesting, the whole Fields thing, hasn't it? Like the QB market, there's been all these moves, and it's I don't know what's going on. Like, are they just asking for too much? Who knows? I don't know.
Well, that's what I was going to ask. Do you think they've overplayed their hand by how aggressive they've probably been? And Because I think everybody's kind of in favour of the fact that, they're going for Williams at this stage. So, but overplaying their hand, it puts advantage with the other 32 teams in the league for trades. All of a sudden, Fields maybe goes from a third-round pick to closer to Mac Jones's level, like a fifth or a sixth-round pick, whatever it was for Mac Jones, because they know they're not going to keep him.
Well, it seemed like the reports again. I was going to say about the reports going back, like apparently the Eagles were wanting to had conversations with Bears as well, and then also went to Pickett. So who knows?
Yeah, it's curious. Where can you see Fields ending up now? Because I think some of the obvious landing spots for him, maybe even the Eagles. We were talking in the group chat yesterday. I suggested possibly the Colts behind Anthony Richardson, someone like that. So someone that's in a similar style to him. Can you see him possibly? Who went to the Ravens?
They signed somebody as a backup, didn't they?
Yeah. So there doesn't seem to be any obvious spots for Fields to go, which is...
I heard an interesting one that I think it was Twitter put about if we went to the Broncos, it could just be a new Taysom Hill for Sean Payton. So
he's definitely a bit of a unit, to be fair.
But yeah, I don't know where he's going. Strange.
Okay, so other ones that we've seen, mentioned Jerry Jeudy. Joe Mixon has left the Bengals. He went to the Texans. Patriots got rid of Mac Jones, which I've got to admit I'm surprised about. Mac, it's a new regime there at the Patriots. He's out the door. Actually surprised that the Jags have went to take him. Maybe he's just needing a fresh start. The guy did show something to get picked to go to the Pats, but it's just not worked out for him.
I think he's had horrendous luck at his coordinators. The last couple of years, he had Matt Patricia and Joe Judge, co-offensive coordinators or something like that. And then you had Bill O'Brien last year. So, and again, it's not a great look for him when he's screaming at the sidelines to Bill O'Brien about just throwing the ball. So I think things like that have certainly hurt his character. So again, does he maybe sit for a couple of years behind Trevor Lawrence? Even last year, you look at Trevor Lawrence, probably wasn't as great as he was the year before. So if he regresses again, do we maybe see Mac Jones coming in? I don't know. Certainly, I would say it's a better opportunity for him than probably sitting at the Patriots still.
I could be able to make his money. Florida, no
state tax.
Is it taxed? Aye, no state tax there, so he'll do well. Lovely surroundings for him there.
That's where he's from anyway, so it's a return home for him. I think he's from Jacksonville area.
What do you make of Sam Howell going from the Commanders to the Seahawks? Because don't hate it. As a Seahawks fan, I've got to say I enjoyed Howell at the Commanders last year. He seemed a bit of an agent of chaos. Plenty of interceptions, but the guy was brave with his passes. He made some really good plays. Of course, gave the Eagles bloody nose again. I don't hate it as a backup. I think it'd be quite a fun move if he was to come in.
Yeah, I kind of agree. I think it's he kind of was getting crushed. I don't know how many sacks he had. He was just getting totally obliterated every single game. So to put up some of the touchdowns he did was pretty fair play to him. So yeah, I think he's done all right, hasn't he? And I suppose he's got a bit of experience now. You know, being the quarterback one in an offense. You know, to come now as a backup, it's not bad. It's not bad move for the Seahawks, really.
Yeah. Well, I've shared the audio chat. There's a tweet going about where it's Sam Howell and Josh Allen through their first 18 games. So Josh Allen was just under 3,400 passing yards, 56.4% completion percentage, 28 touchdowns, 29 interceptions, 72.5 passer rating. Sam Howell's first 18 career games, just over 4,100 passing yards, 63.2% completion, 28 total touchdowns, 22 interceptions, 79 passer rating. So he's not in bad company in that regard for his first 18 games, because we know how Josh Allen's progressed. It's just whether he's going to get that opportunity. But again, like I said, with Trevor Lawrence in Jacksonville, if Gino doesn't start the season like the Gino we seen 2 years ago,
Yes.
I definitely think there's a quick change in there. I think Gino's in a very short leash to start this season.
I wouldn't say. I think maybe surprised last year that we didn't take anyone. But I think how we did draft quite well, and we've seen that with the performances of the young players last year. And the rookies did really well. I think we're needing a wee bit more out of JSN, and hopefully that's something that we're going to see with McDonald coming in. So yeah, we're really looking forward to the season ahead. I think we've, like you say, this could be Gino's last stand. I'm not sure how they want to take over from him, but it's a good start for this one here. Right. Only other one I wanted to ask you guys about was Brian Burns getting traded from the Carolina Panthers going to the New York Jets. Bit of surprise, that one for you guys.
New York Giants.
New York Giants. Indeed.
Giants as well.
Same stadium, same state. That's New York. We're all good.
It's New Jersey. Yeah, right. Okay, there we go. That's the first of the bloopers for the new season. Right, good.
For me, it just the Brian Burns. I'm going to go back to the Panthers. Actually, I think it's a great move for the Giants. Thibodeau on one side, Brian Burns on the other. I think fantastic. Dexter Lawrence, who's just, I mean, I actually want to see him get a sack so as I can see that dance every single game. That sack dance is top drawer. I think they've got a very good defensive line, so I think it's clear what the Giants' priority is going to be this year. I think they're going to try and stifle teams, keep games low scoring. But for me, Brian Burns, and I'm going to pull CMC into this conversation as well.
Mm-hmm.
The trades of those guys and what the Panthers got in return for the level of talent is mismanagement at the highest level. Last year they got offered 2 first-rounders for Brian Burns off the Rams. They rejected it.
Yeah.
This year they got, what was it, a second and a fifth? Something like that. CMC, you look at the talent in that guy, they didn't even get a first-round pick for him. I think it was, again, basically like a bag of jelly beans or something. David Tepper probably threw at a Jags fan. So it's just it's total mismanagement for me. The guy has shown what he can do in a bad team, and to reject 2 first rounders and then only get what they got from him is just criminal.
No, I totally agree with that. I think, as you say, what they ended up getting back in return compared to what they could have had for like basically a 1 year. Keep hearing the quotes, the kind of 1 year rental they had for the last season there, and then just traded them after the, not taking the 2 firsts. For the Panthers, it's I think they've been shown to be an unusual franchise, shall we say, in the last couple of years. So we'll see how it goes.
Very generous.
But yeah, for the Giants, it's a good move, I think. Yeah, can't really argue against that.
And he's been paid off the back as well.
Yeah. Absolutely. Right, let's move on then. We'll keep this going nicely. We'll go for keeping the family together. Let's look at some of the top extensions that we've had before we have a look at the free agency signings that have been made. So there's only one place to start, and it's with the CRU's favourite son, Baker Mayfield. Finally, he had a home last year, but this feels like the CTV video clips you see in TikTok and that, where kids are getting their letter and they open it up and they don't know what it is and they read it, and it's the family that's been looking after them for so long is finally adopting them. That's what it feels like for Baker. He's got a home, he's got a happy home to stay with, he's getting paid as well. But not only that, he's actually got someone to play with as well. So absolutely delighted for Baker. What do you make of Baker staying on in Tampa? Is that an ideal move for them? Does it give them plenty of time to retool? Can they make a progress on the playoffs that they did last year?
I think it makes sense. I think it's another year in the system, rather than again resetting a quarterback room. As you say, he did pretty all right last season for them, getting getting for what you thought going into the season last season. You didn't think that was going to work out at all, and he was like all the reports of a QB competition and stuff like that at the start of last season. And was it Kyle Trash? Is that the backup? I think
Kyle Trask.
Yeah, Trask. So yeah, I think it was a smart move, and fair play to Baker. He's kind of got a full second shot, to kind of get some money and see where his career can take him. So,
how important is keeping Mike Evans though, Studs, for Baker to be successful there?
Absolutely, it was one of his between him and Rashad White. I think they were his two favourite targets last year. So for me, Mike Evans is a kind of funny one. It's like Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers when they left their respective teams. You're kind of feel weird seeing him in a different uniform. And as much as obviously I was championing, let's get him up to Kansas and get him paid and stuff like that, it's it would have probably still been weird seeing him in a Chiefs uniform even at that point. So I think it makes sense. The guy, I mean, his stats speak for himself. He's already, for me, probably a Hall of Fame wide receiver. Based on what he's done his first, 8-9 seasons in the league, something like that.
So I think that's 10 seasons he's had now.
10
seasons with 1,000+ yards, which is incredible for him.
I mean, the guy's just a freak athlete, so it made sense to get Mike Evans signed first, purely because it then probably allowed them to know what they were doing money-wise for Baker and what they could offer him, essentially. So for that front, again, Mike Evans for me would have always been the priority if it was the Bucks. No disrespect to Baker, but it's Evans signed first, and then right, Baker, this is what we're going to offer you. If he then rejects that, then you start shopping around in free agency and see what else is out there. But I think Baker knew that he was in a good area, a good place for him personally. And again, he's got weapons, albeit they're in a kind of shit show in a division in the NFC side. The NFC isn't exactly stacked but by comparison to the AFC in terms of getting into those playoffs. So I think it made sense. He spoke about wanting to extend that run as well. So give him the weapons, see what happens.
You say that, it's maybe getting a wee bit more interesting this year, but we'll get to that when we're talking about the free agency and some of the signings in the NFC South there. What about some of the other the big extensions then? Studs, let's go for you guys there, the Chiefs. What was your that was the one you'd been crying out for all summer. Tell us about Chris Jones there.
What summer we talking about? Last summer or this summer? To be fair, I was very vocal last year about the fact that Chris Jones needed paid, and my word, did he get paid this year? His contract for me is fitting of what he's achieved with the Chiefs. The guy's a game wrecker.
Yeah,
he's up there with Aaron Donald for me in terms of how good he is at the defensive tackle position. You're talking an interior lineman who demands your attention. It's not like JJ Watt, who's on the edge coming in the way that he can maybe only get 2 guys. Chris Jones, like Aaron Donald, could demand 4 guys' attention. And he just opens up so many windows for other guys. And I think he was the reason for me that the Chiefs' defensive line was as successful as it was. So for me, absolutely the right move. Get him re-signed. I'm glad to see there was no messing about the franchise tag with him this year. So just get the man paid, 3-time Super Bowl winner, get him on board for the 3-peat and try and keep as many pieces round about him as we can.
So for some of us just getting into the NFL, what would have been the issue, the problem with putting the franchise tag on him? Would that been seen as being disrespectful? Is that a way to keep it maybe a wee bit of a cheaper contract than what he's getting paid just now?
I think if I remember right, obviously the franchise tag's a 1-year contract, essentially. So for me, it probably would have been disrespectful, especially considering that he sat out games last year. So we knew he wasn't happy with it. If I remember right, the franchise tag's something like the average of the top 5 contracts at the position, was that a 20% increase if you were tagged the last time, something like that. So it's in whichever one's kind of greater, essentially. So
Yeah.
even if we did franchise tag him, we were still going to be paying, so I think he gets something like 20 million on last year. Well, albeit he signed a 1-year contract last year rather than the tag eventually, which included so many bonuses, which we all seen the last Chargers game where they needed one sack to kind of get that bonus. And
That's right.
He was actually quite vocal about the fact that was just to get the money back that he lost by sitting out the first few games. So, yeah, for me, again, don't mess about with the franchise tag. This is one of your team leaders. He's one of your personalities. If you've ever heard them speak like this, he does a great New Heights podcast with the Kelsey brothers, and his personality just shines through. He's also, if you've not seen his combine video, I would recommend that on YouTube. He's fought, in particular, his 40-yard dash, I'll say.
Yes, I've seen that.
Yeah. So I'm not going to ruin it for you, Keith, because you look completely.
No, I've not seen this. Is it as quick as Tom Brady's? That's what I'm thinking right now.
I don't think he finishes his first time. Let's just say that. So, but there's a very valid reason for this, and we've all seen. I think they've been called the Underwear Olympics as well. So it's go and have a look at that.
Okay, right. We'll share that on X and the threads and that later on. Terrific. Any other big extensions that you guys noted that thought really good bit of business?
The other one was Pittman, I suppose, getting re-signed. It was quite a big contract. Like I see 68 million or something like that. So I think it's a good bit of. Again, he's done pretty well for the Colts through his time there, so kind of cement their wide receiver one again, sort of thing, for a couple more years.
Yeah, I think Madubuike was the other one as well at the Ravens, another defensive tackle, getting paid. He got similar to Pittman actually in a lot of ways. He got franchise tag first, and then they've opened the contract negotiations. So Justin Madubuike, who had a very good season last year for the Ravens, getting paid on that defensive line.
For me, looking at it, I think darlings of the crew were the Detroit Lions the past couple of seasons. We've really enjoyed their story, their rise, and that's been led by Dan Campbell. That's nice he cheers them. Dan Campbell has had a contract extension, as has their GM at the Lions, Brad Holmes, through to the 2027 season. And it just feels like another clever bit of business by the Lions. Just keeping the good times going, keeping the fun feeling throughout the franchise going there, and kind of see them just continuing to rise and rise and rise. I've seen that is it Graham Glasgow is re-signed with them as well. So a clever bit of business from them. Keeping
the Scottish connection going, try to build up that franchise in Scotland.
Absolutely, yes. We'll need to get him on the podcast. We'll do our best. Certainly try for that one. Excellent. Okay, good. Any other extensions then of note? No, that's fine. We'll move on then to the testing the waters and the free agency, and that leads us to one of the questions that we had. We had originally planned for this podcast to be on Thursday evening. Things conspired against us, real life and all that. But we did have a question from the Scottish Falcon, at Scottish Falcon on X, and he said, after being irrelevant in the NFL since the game we do not mention, how do other fans look at Kirk Cousins signing in Atlanta? Has he brought ATL back into championship discussions, or am I just seeing it with red and black glasses on? What do you think, Liam?
Well, when you look at it again, I suppose when you look at it on paper, they've got a pretty good offensive weapons now overall. Cousins slinging it. Got London, Pitts, Bijan in the backfield. It's not too bad, really, on paper. I suppose ultimately the question is going to be, Cousins coming back off this Achilles, is that going to hinder him in any sense? I suppose he's done some rushing, I suppose, but he's not really known for being the mobile quarterback of that they are now, sort of thing. So maybe it won't be too much of a hindrance on him.
Does it need to be? I know the much lauded Arthur Smith and his great plans, and that's what they're thinking. He's not there anymore. Can they now maybe try running the ball with Bijan?
That's what you're hoping for your fantasy team, aren't you, Keith?
Oh, definitely. Absolutely. I'm needing a couple of wee plus points there.
I don't know. Like, I think Cousins, wherever he's been, he's always been a kind of accurate passer, hasn't he? You know, he's in his time in Vikings, he's been. You can't say. I know he's had his doubters at times, certainly even with some of our group as well. But he's kept, you know, look what he made Jefferson. You know, obviously Jefferson is Jefferson, but he still has to have a quarterback thrown at him. You know, and so I think I can see why an Atlanta fan will be only thinking positive thoughts, sort of thing, coming into this season.
Would you think, Studs, is this a good move? Do you think this is... It reminds me of latter day Matt Ryan. I think it feels more like that, going for tried and tested, cool old head. It seems as if they're just trying to recreate, just having someone who knows the score, who can do quite well, but maybe not quite do as well when it comes to like championship matches and the playoffs.
I think for me, it's the Falcons. I think they've made a good move here. They needed a quarterback, and Raheem Morris has been obviously quite vocal on that front. And the fact that he said, again, probably meant no disrespect to Desmond Ridder, but he literally just come out and said, if the Falcons had a quarterback, I wouldn't be in this job. So right away with that, and I think it was probably his first press conference, you knew that Raheem Morris was looking for a QB. Kirk Cousins, probably the best one on the open market when you look at it. If you're looking at trades, then maybe you'd argue Justin Fields. For that perspective, which was who a lot of people had them linked with. But I think Cousins is the better option for them. You look at obviously London and Pitts. I think, I'm trying to think who it was. Drake London, I think, referred to them as the Twin Towers when they get drafted by them. So it's two massive targets. Kirk Cousins, Liam said, accurate passing. He's not going to miss them. And then they've actually went and done another bit of business and getting a field stretcher for him and Darnell Mooney for the Chicago Bears and paying him. So they've got that field stretcher. They've got Bijan, who's great RB. They've got Pitts, who has told Cousins he'll give him the jersey for more targets. You've got Drake London, again, very, very, well, first round pick, ultimately. So he's shown flashes of being a good receiver. And even when you look behind Bijan, you've got a 1,000-yard rusher in Tyler Algier as well. So they do have plenty of offensive weapons. I don't know enough about their defense to turn around and say that they're definitely Super Bowl, NFC Championship contenders. Do I think they're contenders to win the NFC South? Absolutely. I think they're probably, if they're not the bookies' favourites, then I'd be asking some serious questions.
Yeah. With the squad, the targets that he's got available to him now, absolutely, it should be. Did you see the news today? Kirk Cousins, every team that he's played for, he said that he'd want to retire with them. So they'll read video clips of that. But he's also always worn number 8. Yes. Kyle Pitts currently has a number 8. And Kirk Cousins obviously wants the number, but he's been quite coy about it. He says he'd like the number. If it's a number that Pitts would like to pivot from, that would be ideal. Pitts said the only thing that he would like in return is plenty of targets. So I think there's going to be certainly going to be a deal made there between the guys. It's interesting just how much the weight that they put and how much attachment they get to their numbers there as part of their personality, I suppose. So yeah, be interested to see number 8 in ATL next season. What a stadium they've got there. Couple of years we'll get the crew over to go and see a wee game. That's Mercedes-Benz Stadium there.
Mercedes-Benz, yeah.
Looks incredible. Okay, other free agency signings and that really stand out to you guys then. Liam, what about yourself?
I suppose I'd probably go for the obvious ones for me. McKinney, safety from the Giants, and then obviously the one with Jacobs, a new running back core, and obviously the fallout that losing Aaron Jones or cutting Aaron Jones as well in the process.
Yep.
So, but,
and them joining a rival.
yeah, that just seems to be the part of the norm. Every off season, the Packers, cut a player and they go to the Vikings or the Bears. So just accept it. But yeah, they were big splashes for Green Bay when we're not known, certainly in the last wee while being big in free agency. But I suppose in the past we've been dealing with keeping Rodgers happy and it's his contract, I suppose. But now we've got a bit more flexibility, so that's been kind of some interesting moves for us.
What were your studs? Any other top free agency that you're happy with?
For me, the obvious ones are your running backs. Liam's obviously mentioned Josh Jacobs. Barkley to the Eagles. Oh my word, how much has that pissed off Giants fans? It's so funny the fact that he's went again in division similar to Aaron Jones, but he's literally went to. I actually think if he went to the Commanders or the Cowboys, it would have been easier. I think most folk don't have a like for the Eagles and Eagles fans in particular, but the Giants and the Eagles hate each other. But again, Eagles Cowboys probably hate each other as well quite a bit. So I think if Tony Pollard had even done that, I think there'd be as much furore. And Henry to the Ravens is another one that kind of screams out.
Yeah. Just before we get off Barkley, a shout out to our good friend Murdo, who massive Giants fan, of course, and he's got the full back tattoo of Saquon Barkley as well. So that's going to cost him an absolute fortune to get lasered off as well. Derrick Henry, King Henry, heading to the Ravens. That's a stunning piece of business. It kind of takes the weight off of Lamar a wee bit to just get comfortable in that pocket. It doesn't have to do those great runs, but how do you plan against it? Because you've got Lamar Jackson there, you've got King Henry, and Zay Flowers now is shown us that Lamar's got a genuine target that can stretch the field there.
Yeah, and Mark Andrews as well. Let's not forget.
Of course. Coming back from injury.
And I don't know how you stop two crazy runners all game sort of thing. So yeah,
that's the thing, Lee, was you're saying. It's literally like Henry's frightening when he gets going. I think if you can get Henry behind the line of scrimmage, then yeah, that's fine. As soon as he's got that yard or two to kind of start building up speed, then you're in trouble.
Yes.
And obviously, if your defense sells out to stop that, then you've got Lamar who can take off and run it himself for the length of the field, so with his pace. I think the Ravens are going to be a scary proposition. I think they've lost a couple of their defensive key points as well. Obviously, Patrick Queen going to their rivals, the Steelers, was probably the big one that screams out as well. So I think the Steelers are ones that I think, again, building up that defense, they'll look like a team that are going to really try and. Their defense is frightening, to be honest. On paper, anyway. Be interested to see when the season comes round. But for me, your biggest point out of free agency was literally that running backs are getting paid this year. Last year, the running back market was bare in terms of what these guys were getting paid, but they're getting some decent contracts this year in terms of what running backs previously had. So it's nice to see for those guys.
Is that maybe a reflection of what was perceived to be maybe not as strong a running back class in the draft this year? Or is it just maybe what they're getting paid percentage, if you look at to the cap, would be roughly about the same, just with inflation and the extension of the cap space that the teams have got? Maybe it's around about the same, but... Yeah.
I was going to say, I was thinking about both. I think, the draft class apparently isn't meant to be as good, but then there's the free agency list of running backs this season was crazy. Like what talent talent that was on it, as you say, like Henry, Barkley, Jacobs, even like Pollard obviously as well, and Eckler didn't have a good season last season, but he's still been a quality back for so long. So like you can see why teams went in to get some known commodities, as it were, sort of thing.
What about moving on then? Have a other couple of running backs that we saw. So Tony Pollard has joined the Titans for the Cowboys. $7 million a year he's getting there. Devin Singletary has joined the Giants from the Texans. Eckler goes from the Chargers. He shopped around last year to see if he could maybe move on. Nobody was taking him last year, but he's went to the Commanders, who actually lost Antonio Gibson. He's away to the Patriots. So plenty of movement there. And as you mentioned at the start of the show, Studs, Gus Edwards has left the Ravens to go to the Jim Harbaugh's Chargers.
One Harbaugh to another. Sure there was no illegal tampering there.
All done on the day, of course. What about the wide receivers then? Calvin Ridley seems to be the most high-profile one there, going to the Titans from the Jaguars. Delighted to someone that's got Will Levis in their fantasy team, that he's got a genuine target there.
You mean D-Hop isn't a genuine target anymore? You still got D-Hop as well. And Traylon Burks, who's not really panned out as Antonio Brown's replacement. AJ Brown's replacement, not Antonio Brown's replacement.
That's what I think is crazy about the Ridley one, was like they didn't pay AJ Brown, but now they paid Ridley like a couple of seasons later. You know, it seems a slightly strange scenario now, but obviously, I suppose that's what happens in the end. You always think the grass is green on the other side, but yeah. So
they've got a new GM as well. That guy didn't last long, remember?
Vrabel wanted him out. You seen that on I think if Vrabel could have flung him out in draft night, I think he would have.
That's right. The Cheers took the brunt of that one, didn't it? Everybody's favourite dwarf from Lord of the Rings impersonator, Gabe Davis, left the Bills. He's away to the Jags now. It's got paid as well, $13 million a year, 3 year, $30 million deal there. Well, so we've got Daniel Mooney, as we mentioned earlier on, going from the Bears to the Falcons. Hollywood's one of you guys for the Cardinals. Happy with that one? 1 year deal?
I think it's obviously a prove-it deal. Come shows what you can do. Again, Rashee Rice looked very good last year, especially down the stretch. He's not a field stretcher, let's be honest. He's more of one of these kind of slot receivers. He'll work inside the way, similar to kind of Kelsey in a lot of ways. So Marquise Brown, we've seen him at Baltimore. When Lamar did unleash his deep shot, it was always to Marquise Brown. So the guy's got some unbelievable speed. So it'll certainly be interesting to see how he links up with Pat Mahomes.
Yeah, I think the other one I got my eye a wee bit was going the other way to the Bills. So Samuel from the Commanders. I think it's an interesting move. I think he did pretty well he was kind of when he was with Carolina, wasn't it, at the start, and he was kind of doing all right, and he went to the Commanders. Didn't really pan out to Commanders, I suppose, overall. But I think now having Allen thrown the ball to you, it's an interesting wee move.
He's a safe pair of hands, I think, and I think he's shown that at the Panthers and the Commanders when he got his targets. He's comfortable. He's safe pair of hands. I think they could be a decent bit of business for the Bills, that one.
Fantastic. Great, guys. Anything else? Any other major ones that we're maybe missing just now? We will be back, as I said, next week, maybe a wee bit earlier, and go for midweek next week to cover some of the other major trades. Studs, go for it.
I've got one. Christian Wilkins to the Raiders, where the Raiders are...
Raiders!
Did you see the picture that they unleashed of him, where it looks like he's actually dumped him out a Raiders helmet? Right. They've got a picture of him in a squat position, and it looks like he's just dumped out a Raiders helmet. Maybe Princess not the best work.
Kate actually tweeted to say that looked like it was done in AI.
So, but again, another defensive tackle getting paid was the kind of screaming out point of that one for me. I think the Dolphins will regret that one. I think they'll regret letting him go. I think don't get me wrong. I think you can see the Raiders' identity now and what they're trying to do. Wilkins and Max Crosby in that defensive line is a prospect that will probably scare most teams. And Wilkins not being known for being the most sportsmanlike person. I think there's rumours where he tends to do a bit of low blows when he's lying on top of the quarterback and things like that for Josh Allen. So he's, I think he probably fits the Raiders' personality, if I'm honest.
That's it. Smash mouth football. I like Wilkins. He was over doing the Sky commentary for a couple of games, I'm sure.
I come across very well in the playoffs.
It does, and it talked about how in the off season he became a 365 athlete. He wasn't just stopping during the off season; he was making sure he was preparing, getting everything ready, so that when it came to the pre-season and the training with the teams, he was ready to go then. Liam, sorry, you were about to say?
No, I was just going to say about another one that kind of caught my eye was Hunter from the Vikings to the Texans.
Yes.
Having him and Anderson in defense and stuff, that was a smart move. Looks like a smart move from the Texans.
Go for it. How are you pronouncing his first name? Because I've heard some belters this week.
Daniel Hunter, I think.
Daniil,
obviously,
Daniil.
It is, according to the American podcast I was listening to, it was Daniil Hunter. I learned Italian at my school, so I was going Daniele Hunter. That's a wee bit fancy that. A good signing, a great pick up there.
What I find interesting with that one is obviously he's came from the Vikings to the Texans. Going the other way for the Texans to the Vikings is Jonathan Grenard, who is bit of similar play styles. Grenard maybe just a little bit more naive than Hunter. So I think what the Texans have done is they've paid the shorter contract to Hunter, and that's why they've been quite willing to let Grenard go. They obviously think Hunter, maybe that little bit more experience will get them a little bit more production for me, which is why they've been letting them willing to let Grenard go to the Vikings.
Daniil Hunter's also 3 years older, so you can maybe see that they think they can work with Grenard a wee bit more. Yeah, very interesting. Some cracking things. If there's anyone that we've missed, anyone that you think we should cover, make sure you give us a wee message and we will make sure to cover it in next week's news crew.
How could we forget Minshew, to be fair? Gardner Minshew getting paid off the Raiders. And a good few kickers as well. I'll just put that in for Stu. I'm not going through them all. But there's been kickers paid as well, to be fair. But Gardner Minshew to the Raiders was one that kind of got my attention, purely because it probably shows me that they're not all in Aidan O'Connell. Aidan O'Connell. Yep. But it's literally going to be Camp Battle of the Mustaches in Las Vegas, which Minshew's mustache wins every time, let's be honest.
I thought he did really well last year. I thought he was coming in for Richardson was just what they needed, just that wee bit steady pair of hands. Similar to Baker in that way, that we'll love him on the crew. He's just that bit of a character that the NFL seems to throw out. I wonder if he's going to be staying in a wee camper van down at the Death Star this off season. Is he preparing for next year? Something tells me that's not going to be happening, but no, best of luck to him.
He goes to the same place every year. Lee's camper van and parks up, and that's what he does. I was listening to it on one of the NFL shows, and it's literally the same place every year. And he plays against the old people again in pickleball and stuff like that, and just messes around. Obviously keeps himself in great shape, but same place every year. Just parks his camper van up until it's ready for OTAs. But there is one more free agency signing, and I'm doing this for the conscience of Cleveland, purely because Pastor Jameis Winston has signed for the Browns, so as he can coach. He can coach and bring Deshaun into the light. So he wanted to mentor Deshaun Watson, which is why he joined the Browns, which I think's hilarious.
Well, I want to finish on to us. Thanks very much for that. Guys, we're back. This is the first of the new season, our third season as with the IRN-CRU. Thanks very much to everyone who's been listening. If you are watching on X, if you're following us on Instagram, please hit us a like, a subscribe. We'd love to hear from you, so get your questions into the crew as well. And we'll be doing this regularly throughout the off season. As I say, we've got some grand plans this year. We're really looking forward to covering all things American football, not just the NFL. We'll have the flag football, we'll have the university football here as well. We'll be looking forward to the draft. We'll be getting loads of people on, giving a place for people in Scotland and the UK to come and let's spread their words and all the good things about American football. One last thing, a wee plug for the Edinburgh Napier Knights. Their match, varsity game against the Edinburgh Mavericks, will take place this Wednesday evening, the 20th of March at Meggetland Stadium. Tickets are £5 for adult students, £3, and under 16s get in for free. So if you can get along to the varsity game there in Edinburgh, the trophy looks terrific. We'll try our best to get there as some crew members, but if not, I hope you all have a fantastic night there. Guys, terrific. Liam, that was absolutely terrific. Wonderful work.
It's always good to chat football, and it's good to be, good to be back chatting ball again. Looking forward to all the things that come ahead for the off season.
So crystal clear with your fabulous blue Yeti mic as well. A big fan. Thank you. Appreciate that. Studs, you're making us all very jealous with your wee drams there and your big pints.
Indeed,
I've got my water, which will be getting traded in as soon as I get down the stairs for a weekend, I think.
No,
Big Chief, top work.
So much for a quick wee half-hour pod, right enough. I'm just sitting like, you just, listen, I think, don't get me wrong, Liam, I don't know about you, but I think as soon as we kind of started talking within the first 5 minutes, I was like, there's no way this is a half-hour pod. We're just going to keep...
Too many players to keep track of, isn't there?
So much has happened in the first week, that's it. But it'll settle down a wee bit as we're going on. But yes, at least a wee half hour of the crew every week for you. Thanks very much for
that. So it was never going to happen, but looking forward to it.
Just so entertaining. Smashing. Right, guys, thank you very much for listening. Please give us a like and subscribe. Leave us a wee comment as well. Until next week, the crew will see you through.